Yay! 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 Where are we?
Hey! We are at the Mount Disappointment today.
And I'm so disappointed. So there is gunshots. Did you hear gunshots?
Yes,
Okay. So what are we doing here?
we just have a walk today.
And I'm looking for the Mount Disappointment Granodiorite. Lots of flowers. And I found some. So I think this is the locality of where the car crashed. So looks like equigranular granodiorite. So it doesn't look porphyritic. Yes, it does. You have probably a limonite or whatever class. But most of it's equigranular. You can tell it's granodiorite because of the way it's eroding in the onion type shape. Beautiful. So we're going to the Mount Disappointment Peak and we're seeing if we can find anything. Yeah, so this is probably feldspar. Although it's very hard to find information about the granodiorite. So I think the peak is over this way. It looks like it's obviously raising. But I haven't been here for like 10 years. Yeah, there's someone shooting in the background somewhere. So what forest would this be? Closed forest? Oh, yeah, it's right next to you. So all around I can see the large basalt boulders. Actually, it's probably not boulders, it's probably not loose. They are not even basalt, granodiorite. And have a look really close. I can see that it has lots of it's like quartz. A lot of it's just feldspar, so the white stuff should be feldspar. And probably a feldspar alteration, which I'm not too sure is. And then we probably have pyroxene, or a mineral from the pyroxene group. And probably, there should be micas in this, but I can't see tell any. Maybe that extinction where just right above my nail could be biotite. And I don't see as much quartz. It looks like this is probably equigranular, so all the grain sizes are the same, but it's just more feldspar, so it looks like the feldspar has a lot more larger crystals. But because this should be equigranular if it's near the summit, because the summit's supposed to be the centre of the batholith, which the centre of the batholith. So you can see a lot of the actual. It's all the way over there. The summit's over that way. So the centre of the batholith is supposed to be equigranular, means one of the materials, probably feldspar or quartz, is larger crystals. Probably would have been formed because the cooling would have been slower. And around the rim, is equigranular, so all the crystals are the same because it cooled at the same conditions. Actually, this material looks a lot fresher than what we saw across the road, and it looks like we have larger crystals of, that's probably, could that be feldspar or plagioclase? Yeah, so this looks like, on this side, the equigranular phase of the batholith. And it looks like we've got larger crystals of feldspar, so that's what the phenocrysts are feldspar. So, it's a nice forest. So obviously this area has not been excavated in the past. Messier? No, that should be the summit there. That should be the hill. The summit, the top of the hill. Figure. And there's a lot of dead trees from the 2009 bushfires. Wow. You think this way goes to it? This way. So all this is state forest, obviously. Over that way is a conservation area. Probably not allowed to go in. And okay, so you're not allowed to down this way. Okay, it's water supply catchment area. Parks Victoria. Okay, looks like we have to go back. Okay. You like it? Here we go. So this one does have large crystals, looks like feldspar. And then it has smaller crystals of feldspar quartz. The grey stuff is probably the quartz. But I can't tell until I put my glasses on. Okay, so it looks like we've got large crystals of feldspar, or maybe a mineral related in the feldspar group. Then we have smaller crystals of quartz. We have some plagioclase. Looks like that's probably what the dark stuff is. Probably some micas as well. So it could be muscovite, biotite. It's a bit hard to tell. But this is definitely the equigranular phase of the Dissapointment Granodiorite. And this is covered in lichen as well. That's what that grey stuff is. So anyway, gonna find out where the summit is. I haven't been here in like 10 years, so it's changed a lot. A lot of the bushland is actually regrown, and there's someone around here shooting off a gun. Seems like it's a fair way away though, but anyway. Unless you have one plant that's flowering. This looks beautiful. I don't even know what it is. Nem länger? Lang? Does it smell though? What does it be? Smells like honey. It's such a beautiful flower. You want to go through that path? Ganger? Heel far. Yeah. Okay. I'll tell her. So all this at one time was clearfield for timber. You go this way? Oh, look at the airplane. Can you see it? And there it is. Got chemtrails. Fire extinguisher. Okay. Probably that. Probably also the trees. Probably the flowers as well. The leaves of the eucalyptus tree would smell as well. You don't like that? That's the smell of Australia. I do like this bracken. It's actually quite a nice, beautiful plant. So in here you should be able to see reptiles, snakes. They like to inhabit this place. Brown snakes, copperheads, red-bellied black. Messy, huh? Yeah, keep away from this stuff. This is thistle. That hurts. Huh? Go over this stuff, that should be fine. This looks like it might be a path up to the top of the hill. We'll just see. Anyway, so what's the age of this batholith, the Granodiorite? It's about 370 million years. It intruded in Victoria along with all the other Granodiorites and the granites as well, roughly the same time. And it might have been caused by thin skin and pull apart. So basically, I just forget the terminology. So basically, I think Van Dieland was colliding with Victoria. Probably, I don't know the actual date of Van Dieland. I need to read that research paper. And it caused the crust here to stretch. So this is actually in the Melbourne Trough. But not only that, and then there's a lot of plutons, magma that actually welled up. So maybe this is it. Yeah, we'll try over here. Go up here. Okay, so as it's welling up, there's two types. Oh, look at this charcoal from 2008 bushfires. It's still here. Do you want to go over? Come on. Oh, you're like a frog. Yeah, so lots of really weathered material here. Yeah? Oh. Oh, take them home, we can have them as a indoor plant. Oh. There's lots of birds in here. Yeah, don't worry about it for now. Oh. Okay, so I think this gimbal is dead. I charged it all night and it's still flat in like 10 minutes. Shouldn't be the case. Roll Paul? Okay, so the gimbal died once again, so this is going to be a bit shaky. That one's at home. Okay, so more fairly weathered granodiorite. Yeah, that looks like it's watertight. That's fairly weathered, so maybe worth keeping that stuff. So obviously we're close to the summit, because we're starting to get a lot more boulders of fairly weathered granodiorite. So there's a lot less soil here, which is pretty normal for mountain, which the wind blows the soil away, the water transport it down slope. There's a bridge here at one time. More beautiful granite. Should say Granodiorite. So what's the temperature today? Well, it is about 32 degrees. Tomorrow's, and that's the 3rd of January. That's funny. 3rd of January 2025. And tomorrow's going to be 38 degrees, so I really don't want to come here in that temperature. Don't know what that's for. Okay, it's an exclusion zone, keep out. So this is a little creek area. So, a creek. Okay, so what is a creek? Well, a creek is this. Actually, this is more like upper part of a creek. And it's just an area where water actually, it's like a river, smaller, but it doesn't flow all year. So this only flows when there's a rain event. So on both sides we had the bank. So this is the erosion point. So this is where all the material would actually accumulate from the sides and up the hill and be transported down south. Not always, but it's still going downhill. But this is a low point in the topography. Okay, so as we're getting up closer to the peak, obviously we're seeing more granodiorite. You okay? Okay. This way. Goody, can I take some rock home?
Yep.
Why? And have a look at this little fella. Obviously it's been here quite a long time. Just covered in, what's this, lichen? Or moss? No, I'd say it's more moss. See, I don't even know my biology. Okay, that should be the summit. Obviously got a large table. Okay. Okay, here we have some information. In October 17th, so 1824, Hamilton Hume, 27 at the time, and Australian-born bushman and William Hovell, 38, retired English sea captain, left gunning together with 6 convicts near Yass. They had been commissioned by the New South Wales government to find overland route to Western Port in Victoria. At the time, nothing was known of this country. They crossed the Murrumbidgee River, which is up north, and after great hardship crossed the unknown snowy mountains. Wow, that's quite high. The Murray in flood was reached on the 16th of November. Crossed 4 days later. The Mitamita, Kiara, Ovens and Goulburn were found, so that's still up north. Onward from Yea and Flowerdale. What's that, like 50 kilometres north of here? The expedition encountered the worst. Flowerdale is probably about 10 kilometres. Worst terrain yet, and spent 4 days successively searching for the summit, hoping to glimpse the sea. The leadership argued current, but eventually Hume guided the party back north and then west to Strath Creek and Broadford. Yeah, Broadford's actually a nice town. Okay, so Mount Disappointment. Okay, so from Broadford they turned south towards Kilmore, and from Monument Hill Hume was able to see a clear passage through the Great Sea. So that's why it's called Mount Disappointment, because obviously you can't see anything from here. It's all just trees. Yeah, that's basically the story. Is there anything on the other side? Okay, so here's the actual map. So Albury, that's New South Wales, this is Victoria now. Went down south. So they went this way, Yea, Strath Creek, there, Rich, Lara. They went down to Geelong. Geelong's here, Melbourne's here. Went down to Werribee, then they went back up. And this is railway, the current railway from Melbourne up to Albury. Anyway, let's go and see the actual peak. Do you want to sit down? I'm just going over there. You want to come? You can? Okay. Oh yeah. Look, large crystal feldspar. And here we have, I've read about this. This is a vein, probably not chloride or something like that. It's an alteration phase, but I'm not too familiar with geology until I get back home. Lots of spiders around here. Obviously you can see what we have to contend with in Victoria when actually looking at the geology of a place. So that's the summit there, but this is what I'm standing on is the high point. I don't see any other high Granodiorite boulders. And you're gonna find it hard to actually get a good specimen if you want it. Obviously all the loose rock is underneath the foliage, and it's fairly weathered, so obviously it's not going to give you a true sample of the original outcrop itself. So just coming out of the peak of Mount Disappointment into a clear area. So this has always been clear. I'm not too sure why. Maybe there's actually shallow soils, although it just looks like they've just clear felled it. Large boulders, Granodiorite, which is fairly weathered, so you can't really tell it's Granodiorite. And I've got a big rock over my wife's there saying no. Yeah? So I'd say they've got this fencing for a vegetation site. But so if you look at the actual soils, you can see they feel sandy, and you can pick up some quartz, which is the last mineral to weather because it's so hard. So if you sift this, you'll get a lot of these finer quartz, probably coarse sand, small pebbles, and this looks a lot fresher, a lot newer in its actual composition. So I would say this is the weathered material's been removed by vehicle tracks, which looks like that was an old path. It's funny how that's always been like that. They've always kept it, I don't know, they always cut it for some reason. Huh? I don't know. Yeah, probably Park Victoria. Because they don't want people driving down. So that used to be a track. Okay, you had enough? So anyway, you like my car behind me, beautiful car, Toyota Yaris. So I've come down from Mount Disappointment, and behind me we have the access track. Obviously dirt road, but it's well maintained. But on the side of the road, this is all clear felled sometime, yeah, probably about 20 years ago, I would say, based on the size of the trees. And yeah, the same with the other side, looks like that was clear felled. Looks like original forest over that way. But I stopped just to have a look at these boulders, because this is not granitic. If my judgment serves me, this is probably Hornfels Orioles. That's if it's originally from here. So this could be imported, but it looks slightly vesicular, so this could be rhyolite. It's a bit hard without, because it's so weathered on top. You need to crack it open to know what it is. But I would say these are here to stop cars from actually going off the track. Yeah, so, but this looks like it's fresher material. It's fairly soft. It feels like it's sandstony. So, but it weathers like a basalt. Yeah, I'm sure what stuff this is. Yeah, it just feels like a sandstone. It doesn't look like a basalt or any type of extrusive igneous rock. So I'm going to say this is probably, it has these vesicles, but it doesn't look like vesicular basalt. And this just looks like it is. So we got close-up sections. And no, this just looks like a type of sandstone. So I'm not too familiar with what this is because it's just a boulder. It's probably could be the metamorphic aureole, so the hornfels that surrounds a batholith. So basically, can we see any of the original rock? Maybe just walk in here and see if we can find anything. So the soils is actually quite similar to what we find on the Granodiorite. And going into the forest. Oh no shit, man. We probably need to penetrate a fair way to actually see if there's any other type of rock. So this is pretty flat. And the forest is just too dense to actually even look for anything. So got a lot of bracken, a lot of this plant, goodenia, and this one, that's probably a wattle. Watch out for this stuff, it actually hurts. Looks like this might be Cassinia. So basically the elevation of up to the peak, so here the elevation is only about 5 to 10 degrees, which is not great, but over a long distance it does increase. As you go up, the steepness would increase to probably about 20 degrees. Not really great, but as we're walking up the mountain track, right close to the peak, the steepness increased to probably about 30 in some places, but a lot of places it was still like 15 to 20. So there is no great incline up to Mount Disappointment, and that allows for the actual forest to develop because there's enough, or there's not enough steepness in the side of the mountain to allow for the material to actually be totally stripped away. Anyway, so basically somewhere over that way we have the sedimentary rock. In between there and the Granodiorite we have the metamorphic hornfels, which is always present around a batholith. And over this way, so underneath me we probably have equigranular, so equal grain size Granodiorite. Up on the peak obviously we have some phenocryst, is it phenocryst of probably sodium feldspars, which is there's not that many. So obviously I would say they probably crystallize somewhere and were brought up with the mount. Anyway. So this looks like the material here. Yeah. This could be in situ, and it's pretty much just the hornfels, really. It's too hard to beat the siltstone. What's this? It's a piece of rubbish. So maybe I'll take that home, smash it open, we'll find out what it is. It's just too weathered on the outside to know, but I know it's not the Granodiorite. Anyway, that is basically what I do for fun. all my days off. If the wife wants to go do something, yeah, we go do something. If I want to go do something, it's usually look at geology or, yeah, coins. Thank you. So, g'day. And my name is Glenn. And basically I'm at Mount Disappointment. And behind me is a favourite place I like to visit. It is just a dammed creek. So this is artificial. And you can probably see the water behind me. We're going to have a look at it in a minute. But basically this road here is artificial. This is all originally a dam. And there's pipes going under here to allow for the water to flow that way. So that is, which way is south? So that's north. So that way is west. And where we're looking now is east. And if you fall into that, it actually gets quite deep. So as you can see, this is probably just fallen material. And obviously the bank is there. And this is just beautiful. I actually like it very much. So this is pretty unique in the damming of a creek, in which case it is quite wide. So it's probably about 5-6 meters wide. It's about 30 or 40 meters long. I've never been over there. So there are actual trackways you can go. So if you're going to look at the geology on the road, it's all artificial, so you're not really going to find any original material. And there's a dead wombat up that ways, but we're not going to have a look. So before you could actually walk in here, okay, there was probably about 5 years ago. I haven't been here in a long time. Obviously a lot of scrub, a lot of trees have fallen down. So when you come, you need to be careful. So this is pretty impenetrable. Yeah, that's just going to get too hard. And that's why this is called Mount Disappointment, because this is what the original people found when they first come here. But obviously you got a lot of dead trees, and that is basically the only major water source I would say that's around here that's permanent. Would I drink it? Nah, definitely not, unless you want to get very sick. Okay, it's a stagnant pond. A lot of organics based on what colour it is, and obviously it doesn't flow because I don't see any clays. Usually the rivers around here have a lot of clays. But the forest here has never been cleared. It was damaged during the 2009 bushfires, but obviously during the last 16 years it's recovered quite well. And a lot of these trees that you can see here are probably about 16 years old. Then you got the larger dead trees that were originally here, and they're all over the place. And these are the things that are actually falling down, so that's why you need to be careful when you're around here. So not too many people come here, and this will be a good place to yabby. Get some yabbies. That would be a good food. But obviously if you're going to drink this water, you need to detoxify it first. Probably boiling it is not going to be enough. Yeah, so that's what happens when you go out and look at different places. There's actually a lot of people fall driving because it's the 3rd of January today. And another thing is that you can use these vines, like if you watch those channels that build huts, they use these as like a type of rope. But you'd need it to be fresh. This is actually quite woody. There's quite a lot of them. So good building material, and you've got a lot of trees you can actually cut and use for housing. But the actual soils here are probably not good for pottery. So this is actually quite coarse, but I believe that this material is probably derived from the siltstone and not the actual Mount Disappointment Granodiorite, which I would say it's either silt or has a lot of clay in it. If you go over this side, this is just the exit point of the creek. And it is quite steep. Obviously you're going to have a lot of trouble getting through that. So there wouldn't be too many kangaroos. I don't think there's any koalas around here. But if there were koalas, this would be an ideal site because obviously it has a lot of moisture. Koalas like eucalyptus trees with a lot of moisture. But anyway, it's pretty bad for geology. So this is what you have to deal with. A lot of material that's built up, that's covering the rock. Also covering the soil, so if you're a soil scientist, you would also need to dig down, which is really sad. But it has nice plants, these are nice. I know these are native, I'm not too sure what they are. Fuck off. So basically that's the fun things that I like to do when I have a day off. Just go out, pick a site, check the geology and see if it's any good. Because in Victoria, pretty much most of the places are not. Anyway, hooroo, have an awesome time learning what type of rocks surround your area.